Our next speaker tonight is Jonathan Karpfen. Ensuite, nous avons Jonathan Karpfen. Where have all the users gone?
All right, wow. Let's do this thing. All right, well, I'm so stoked to be here. I know that you're all deeply committed to making products and services that people love. So I wanted to talk to you about how to get from bright idea to successful product, at least one aspect of it. And as you can see, the path is essentially a long, squiggly line. And I guess I could probably stop there, but just to flesh that idea out a little bit more, consider this illustration of one very successful product. And I think you'll probably immediately start to try and guess what product that is. And in fact, it's been said that the only intuitive user interface is the nipple. So unless you have millions of years of evolution on your side, don't expect your product, or rather people, to just get your product. And don't expect it to enjoy the kind of success the nipple has either. What you should expect is for every step along the way to involve some form of design. And design begins and ends with people. It's absolutely essential to have an intimate understanding of the people we're designing for. So at this point, you're probably thinking, starting to say to yourself, does this guy think I'm an idiot? That's so obvious. And no, of course, I don't think that. But the thing is, so much of design research actually looks like this. Because, well, we all do it, right? We sit in our office or our basement and we think about the people who we want to be using our products, and we make little stick figure drawings and make spreadsheets, and that's all really important, actually. But what's also important, maybe more important, is to understand the people that we're designing for. To begin by understanding them. And what we so often do instead is we begin by building when we think we have a good idea, and that makes sense too because, especially if it's for the web, it's relatively cheap and it's reasonably accessible, and that's increasingly true for tangible products as well. But just because we build it doesn't mean that they're going to come. And by the way, your investors know this. They're hedging their bets, but we don't have that same privilege. This is our baby we're working on here, right? So to bring it back to basics for just a second, very generally speaking, the less technologically innovative your product is, the easier it's going to be to get people to start to use it. The more technologically innovative it is, though, the more money you're likely to make. Think like building a website versus reinventing the internet. So most of us end up somewhere in the middle. And I think, the problem is we can't figure out, are we doing entertainment, broadly speaking, or are we doing technology? What business are we in? And I think we often forget that even if we're building the most advanced technology, we're all in the entertainment business. And that's all about making stuff that people can fall in love with. Technology is only ever a means to an end. It's only a facilitator, right? And the design that we come up with is really just meant to manifest an experience for the user. So this isn't a walk down a dirt path. I mean, I don't think most people think of it that way, or maybe you do. But for me, it's much more exciting to think of it as a magical stroll through a mystical forest. And when we forget that, we end up, well, here, not a mystical forest, a burnt-down forest. We ruin the experience, and we potentially ruin ourselves in the process. So it's really essential to think about the experiences of our users when we're trying to come up with the optimal design. And it's that design that's going to lead our users through the path of experience that we want them to have. And what I'm talking about here goes by many different names, and they're kind of fancy and expensive sounding, and traditionally they have been. But what I'm here to tell you today is that you can do this kind of work on a shoestring budget, and you need to be doing it. And so just to give you one example, I myself wanted to study people in long-distance relationships, and I wanted to do it without spending a single penny. And I did it, and it worked. I got over 500 participants, and I got some very in-depth insights from it. It wasn't perfect. For example, my sampling was way off. I had 90% female respondents. Just a couple of quick tidbits. Over 7 out of 10 people in long-distance relationships email, IM, and/or text message each other at least once a day, most often more. 5 in 10 visit each other at least every couple of months and send gifts to each other at least every 3 to 4 months. On the other hand, only 3 in 10 use social networks to communicate with their significant other. So if you're going to build some kind of added value service for people in long-distance relationships, don't do it on Facebook. So I'm out of time, so I just want to leave you with this list of names of people who are giants in this field. And if I can leave you with just one last thought, it's that the nipple is the only intuitive user interface. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Merci, Jonathan.